Magandang buhay mga bata! Tara, samahan ninyo akong matuto kasama si
Teacher Aika, your online teacher. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thank you! Revised K-12 Curriculum, Music and Arts, Grade 5, Quarter 2, Lesson 3 to 4. Our topic for this week is about exploring the mediums, patterns, and practices of the early Philippine music and arts. This is Teacher Aika, your online teacher. Let's start! Learning competency. Apply mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices. Example, use of rhythm and tempo, choice of motifs or symbol, materials, medium, etc. in performing and visual arts during the early Philippine period in the production of creative works. Learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to A. Describe how mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices were used in performing and visual arts from the early Philippine period in their province or region. B. Explain how the mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices used in the early Philippine performing and visual arts influenced the culture of their province or region. C. Use mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices during the early Philippine period in making a new creative work. Content. First, description of how mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices were used in performing and visual arts from the early Philippine period in their province or region. Second, explanation of how the mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices used in the early Philippine performing and visual arts influenced the culture of their province or region. Third, use of mediums, patterns, symbolisms, and other relevant practices during the early Philippine period in making a new creative work. Week 3, Day 1. Let's have a short review. Look carefully at the pictures that your teacher will show. From the pictures, name some creative works like music, dances, or crafts that came from your province or region during the early Philippine music and arts. After naming them, write or say your own definition and description of each creative work. Lesson purpose, activity number 1, how it's made. First, watch the video about wood carving in Paete, Laguna. You can watch it here with the help of your teacher. Second, after watching, talk about what you observed and understood. Share what you found interesting in the video and talk about how designs and patterns can be different in other places or regions and describe what symbols you saw in the wood carvings. Third, listen to your teacher as they explain again the important ideas and why traditional art forms like wood carving are important to our culture. Activity number 1, how it's made. Guide questions. Ask the learners the following questions. Number 1, what are some common things you notice in the arts and music from different provinces in Region 4A? Number 2, how do the materials, designs, and symbols used in early Philippine arts and music show the culture and history of each province? Number 3, why is it important to learn about the old arts and music from our region? And number 4, how does it help us appreciate our culture today? Let's answer. Number 1. What are some common things you notice in the arts and music from different provinces in Region 4A? Answer. Some common things I noticed are that many of the arts use things from nature like wood, leaves, and shells. The designs usually have patterns like flowers, animals, or people. The music also uses native instruments and tells stories about people's lives. Number 2, how do the materials, designs, and symbols used in early Philippine arts and music show the culture and history of each province? Answer, the materials show what is common in the place. Like paete uses wood because there are trees there. The designs and symbols tell stories about their beliefs, traditions, and the things that are important to them like family, farming, or nature. It shows how people lived a long time ago and what they cared about. Number 3, why is it important to learn about the old arts and music from our region? Answer, it is important because it helps us remember where we came from and how talented our ancestors were. We can be proud of our own culture and not forget it. Number 4, how does it help us appreciate our culture today? Answer, it helps us appreciate our culture today because we see how creative and hardworking our people are. We learn to respect our traditions and maybe try to continue them so they won't disappear. Word hunt. For our vocabulary, search the words and recite it. Let's answer. Ceremony, ceremony. Craftsmanship, craftsmanship. Heritage, heritage. Motif, motif. Textile, textile. Let's define those words. Ceremony, a formal religious or public occasion celebrating a particular event. Craftsmanship, the quality of design and work shown in something made by hand, artistry. Heritage, the legacy of physical artifacts and intangible attributes of a group inherited from past generations. Motif, a distinctive feature or dominant idea in an artistic composition. Textile, a type of cloth or woven fabric. Week 3, Day 2. Activity number 2, pass the medium. First, your teacher will divide you into groups and give each group different objects related to the lesson like wood, flower, textiles, and paper. Second, your teacher will play a folk song. While the song is playing, pass the objects from one group to another. Third, when the music stops, the pupil holding an object must explain how the object is connected to the lesson and give examples of how it is used in your community or culture. Fourth, listen carefully while your teacher explains more about each idea and connects it to the lesson's topics and goals. Week 4, Day 1. Work example, Activity 3, Crafting History. Materials needed, clay and carving tools. Activity 3, Directions. First, the teacher will group the class into 3. Second, each group will be given their designated kundiman song. Mga himig sa pasyong mahal for Group 1 o maliwanag na buwan for Group 2, ang dalagang Pilipina for Group 3. Third, based on your designated song, interpret it by curving, molding, and the clay. Fourth, after producing your own creative works, you will present your output and explain using the themes, symbolisms, and visuals of their output. Week 4, Day 2. Activity 4, Virtual Museum Tour. Take a virtual tour of the National Museum of the Philippines to start an intriguing trip through the history and culture of the Philippines. You will be immersed in a 360-degree panoramic picture of the museum area, ready for exploration with the guidance of your teacher. Guide questions. Number 1, as you explore the virtual museum tour, which exhibit or artifact captures your attention the most? Describe what makes it interesting to you and why you find it significant. Possible answer. The exhibit that captured my attention the most is the big painting of the Espolarium by Juan Luna. It is interesting to me because the painting is so big and shows a very dramatic scene from our history. I find it important because it reminds us of the bravery and struggles of Filipinos during the Spanish time. Number 2, what new information did you learn about Philippine history or culture from the virtual tour? Can you share one interesting fact or detail that stood out to you? Possible answer, I learned that we have many different old tools and pottery that our ancestors used a long time ago. One interesting fact I found is that they made jars and pots by hand and used them for storing food and water. It shows how creative and smart they were even without modern machines. Number 3, imagine you could step into one of the exhibits and interact with the artifacts. Which exhibit would you choose and what would you do there? Possible answer, I would choose the exhibit with ancient musical instruments. I would like to try playing the gongs and drums so I can hear how they sound and feel what it was like when our ancestors used them during rituals and celebrations. Number 4, explain why you're drawn to that particular exhibit and what you hope to discover or experience. Possible answer, I am drawn to the musical instruments because I love music and I want to know how traditional music was made. I hope to discover what kind of songs or beats they played and how they used music to celebrate or tell stories in the old days. Learners' takeaways. Complete the following statements. First, some of the media used in the early Philippine arts are: answer, wood, bamboo, leaves, clay, and shells. Number 2, the early Philippine music is different to modern music by: answer, using native instruments and telling stories about daily life and traditions. Number 3, the use of materials, patterns, and symbolism in Philippine art and music serves as a: Answer, way to show our culture, beliefs, and history. Formative assessment. Which statement is correct? Right, true? Which statement is incorrect? Right, false? Number 1. Philippine instruments like the taguk are often made of brass, which is a strong metal used for making music. Answer, true. Number 2. Nose flutes like the kudyapi are made of materials like wood and yarn, with pretty designs showing cultural stories. Answer, false. Number 3. The agunggong is made of brass and beads and is special because it's used in important ceremonies. Answer, true. Number 4. Philippine instruments use materials like wood and bamboo to make different sounds and tell stories. Answer, true. Number 5. Patterns in Philippine arts like on pots and carvings show stories about our history and different places. Answer, true. Number 6. Designs on Philippine clothes and crafts have shapes and pictures that mean something special, like about nature or our beliefs. Answer, true. Number 7. Symbols in Philippine art like robots and computers tell stories from long ago and what we believe in. Answer, false. Number 8. Filipino crafts use things like wood, paper, and cloth because they're easy to find and work with. Answer, true. Number 9. Filipino crafts have pretty patterns and designs that tell stories and make things look nice. Answer, true. Number 10. In the virtual museum, we can see cool art and learn what the designs mean, like why they're important to us. Answer, true.
And that wraps up today's lesson. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for tuning in.